Welcome to another episode of MedTech World Podcast. I'm your host, 𝐷, and today we will be talking to MyBlueLabel CEO, Kenn Milton. Let's go! Kenn Milton, thank you very much for joining me. MyBlueLabel, how amazing is that? How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, and thank you for the invite.
My absolute pleasure. Mr. Milton, I would very much love to jump into this podcast. We have some few questions for you to get to know a bit more about MyBlueLabel, understand a bit your dynamics, and let's step into it.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Kenn, very first question. So, what inspired you to start MyBlueLabel compliance services in the MedTech industry? And what were some of the challenges you were faced in the early stages?
So I have 20 years of experience in the regulatory industry, and I've been working with some of the largest corporations in the world. And I saw no matter how big company you are, how many resources you have available, you will still struggle quite a lot with regulatory compliance. But what I also realized was that it's really focused about best practices. The regulations are the same, the standards are the same, and how you're reporting to regulators are the same. So really it's about creating a framework or a platform that talks into this way of working. And at the same time, I was thinking, what does small, mid-sized companies do who doesn't have the same resources, knowledge, experience, or people even? Yet small, mid-sized companies are the focus areas of many countries to be the way the companies to put innovative products to the market. And these companies has no real knowledge of doing so on the regulatory pathway. So that was why we decided to develop this solution and then put all the tools and processes in front of the companies so they can get the help and support that they need in a very easy and straightforward manner.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kenn. So, MyBlueLabel, other compliance companies out there. What separates the both of you?
So we believe that we are in here for the companies that we are serving. We are very focusing on delivering value-based solutions. And then we have a strong focus also on our values and being a value-based integrity and building this with passion. I believe that we do that different from any other company. And then I have been in the industry for many years, and I know how other companies are doing this. And we believe that it can be done much faster than anybody else is doing at the moment.
All right. Kenn, moving on to the next question. What kind of MedTech companies do you primarily work with? And what are some of the unique compliance challenges they face?
So we are liking to support small, mid-sized companies, and with the new regulations within Europe in medical device regulations and in vitro diagnostics regulations, these are the primary customers that we're working with at the moment. Usually they come to us with no knowledge and experience, so we need to accelerate the compliance framework into the companies. I think, 95% of our companies are coming with their first product. And then we're also helping companies that are on the market already, but need more effective processes around regulatory compliance.
Thank you very much. Kenn, how do you approach building long-term relationships with your MedTech clients? And what kind of support do you offer beyond initial compliance assessments?
Yeah, so it is a long relationship that we want to build with our clients. We know by regulations that there's a requirement that the data need to be stored between 10 and 15 years. But we also know that when we are approaching our clients, they have very little money and resources. So we are building our business case on them growing to be a success. And if we can bring them from a very early phase to a big success, then we also going to be successful in the end. But we are always conscious of the resources that the companies are having at the moment that we are interacting with them.
Okay. Something which I love to ask actually, and I'm hoping you have definitely an answer for me for this one. Success stories. Have you any success story that you would like to mention where MyBlueLabel helped a MedTech client, overcome particularly challenging, compliance issues?
Yeah, so we by now have 210 customers using our services, and we are meeting different stories out there. We are meeting companies that have spent 3.5 million Danish kroner and many years on regulatory compliance. And we have been supporting them within the last half a year. With the effort spent in that half a year, we successfully put them into a stage 1 audit and also just completed a stage 2 audit just yesterday. And we do that at a fraction of a cost to what they have spent so far. So they are very happy at the moment, and they are hugging me in the canteen when we see them.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, Kenn, in your opinion, what are some of the most, pressing compliance issues facing MedTech companies today? And how's BlueLabel addressing them?
So I would say that the medical device regulations have put everybody in a lot of what is called discussions, or they're not knowing how to approach it. Some of them are approaching it by sitting on their hands, and some of them are trying to do something about it. I think what is similar to everyone, they think that these new regulations are really tough and hard, and they think also that it's up for no good, and EU is killing innovation by introducing these new rules. However, we believe that, so we love compliance, right? So when there's new regulations, we are always looking to see what are the changes to these regulations and how does it impact these companies. And basically new regulations are made because somebody have put products on the market that are hurting the patients more than helping. And then every company needs to apply to these new regulations. So it's the way the world is going, and the way that the technology is improving. We need to have new regulations, because otherwise we're looking into a directive that was 26 years old. And if I look at my mobile phone from 26 years ago, then it's nothing like the ones that we're looking at today. And how we're building devices around our mobile phones today, of course, some new regulations need to apply. And then basically when you are not having this as a focus area, and you are an engineer, you're a PhD, you're a clever person, you're not really looking into the regulation with the same passion that we are. And then if there's a lot of information, there's a lot of documents, there's a lot of references, then it's just becoming, to some people, a big animal trying to, you have to achieve getting into the market. And until now, compliance has always been this gray box that you just know cost a lot of money, cost a lot of time. And this is what we are working against, because we want to put transparency into compliance. We want to make it very visible what you need to do, what you need to comply to, how we're going to get to the market by solving one task at the time. And then, of course, we do it at a fraction of the cost because we want to scale out. And by having the same regulations, the same standards, the same way of reporting, a lot of these things can really be scalable and digitalized more than you need me to come out and do anything hourly based and introduce how unique your company are or is. Because your company is unique, but how you're reporting and your standards are not unique. And this is what we need to, we kind of need to turn the way people are looking at regulatory compliance around. And they have been traditionally the way that they're working today is to trust the consultants are the right way to do it. We're just here to say that we need to put some products on the market and we need to do it as fast as possible.
Brilliant. Kenn, how do you measure the success of MyBlueLabel?
Obviously, since I went from a consultancy game, I call it, where I could take one consultant or one company at the time, helping them out. I've been lucky enough to support maybe 20 companies in my time as a regulatory consultant. We are measuring our success on how many companies that we are able to support with our tools and services. And right now we have 210 clients. And that would be impossible for me to have so many touch points as an independent consultant. And I believe not a lot of consultancy houses at all has these many clients within regulatory compliance. But again, we're here to support with tools and services. But what is important is that the companies focus on what they do best, and then we can take the areas and questions that they might have and solve them in a quick way. So we're focusing on market access.
So Kenn, what advice do you have for MedTech companies looking to improve their compliance practices but are unsure where to start?
So we always recommend our clients or customers, and not even if they're not going to sign up with us, we're still recommending them to understand the minimum requirements for market access. So that would be the regulatory pathway. And from that understanding, what level of work do you need to do at what time? And then really building any decision that they're having towards development, to supplier evaluation, build that on knowledge of regulatory compliance, because that is the minimum requirement for market access. Don't do too much, don't do too little. Understand what is enough, and then make your decisions from that knowledge, instead of you having a product that is fully functional, but you cannot bring it to market because you didn't understand the regulatory compliance while you were building it. So understanding the regulatory compliance upfront, we would recommend all the companies to do as the first activity. Brilliant.
Kenn Milton, I would like to thank you so much for stopping by and for answering my questions. It's been a delight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's also been a lot of fun.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen at home, if you want to see more of these MedTech World podcasts, I do suggest to subscribe to our channel for more. Thank you very much.